People still don't have answers for many aspects of the proclamation, including the immigration attorneys, not just the community, the entire immigration attorney or the stakeholders involved, the petitioners, the companies in the US. They don't have a clarity as to what exactly is there in the proclamation. So it was technically a shocker for everyone. So no one expected that this kind of a restriction on people entering the US on H1B would ever come. And hardly there was about a couple of days where people had to scramble, try to get back into the country. Not even a couple of days, hardly about a day. But again, on 20th and 21st, there are further clarification that came from the Department of State, from the White House, and from the CBP, indicating that people with a valid H1B visa can travel in and out of the US without any issues.
So, what you are essentially saying is that people who have already stamped visas sitting in India, they are not affected.
So that was a kind of panic. It was a shock for the entire immigration attorneys, including the companies or the benefiters. Even the dependents were worried about what is happening. What will happen if they happen to travel out of the US and then try to re-enter? Okay, this is the current scenario. And people who managed to get back into the country after September 20th, that is on September 21st to till date, they never had any issues. They said it was a smooth. They're primarily the colleges and universities who sponsor academic kind of H1Bs or probably research oriented kind of H1Bs, right? So those applications may have an immediate impact. This was not a proper planning. We never expected anything like this and within a very short duration. So the reason that we have so much of ambiguity in the entire proclamation is probably it was ill planned.
How are the companies who are going to, offer H1B visas to prospective candidates from this year onwards are reacting?
To be very specific, the people who have been counted towards the lottery this year, in the year 2025, and they have a start date of employment in October 1st, they are not affected. That part is very clear. Okay? Because those petitions were filed and approved prior to September 21st. So those applicants will not be impacted by this new fee. But in future, in the upcoming lottery in 2026 March, yes, they seem to be affected. And that part is also clear on the policy memorandum and the proclamation.
Do you have any information about how, when people are going for stamping their visas in US embassies, right, in India, is there a separate kind of treatment that is being dished out, or it's normal?
Some have literally, came to attend a function or attended a marriage, their own marriage technically. I have a case where they came for the marriage. So they're all kind of on a panic mode, what exactly is going to happen. And then we had to say, it's too early for people to take any kind of a call. Just calm down, don't get into a panic mode. Or I know this chaotic kind of a situation at the moment. So that is the latest one. They have proposed a rule, okay, in which people with higher salary will have more opportunity in the lottery pool, and whereas with the people with the lesser salary, like level one wage, will have only one chance in getting into the lottery pool.
Paint for us a picture, a worst case scenario. Someone who is in US, he is holding an H1B visa and it's going to expire. Okay, and he has to do a fresh petition and come back to India, or maybe, as a matter of fact, can go to any country and file a petition from there. What is the worst case scenario that can happen?
If someone is already there in the US and they are planning to do extension, they have to renew the petition. Let them renew, stay in the US. Do not travel without consulting an immigration attorney, because it is always better to have a legal advice and then travel abroad. So until situation becomes better, we feel that people will try to postpone or delay their process of either getting into the US, including students. Even students are considering to uh, pursue their higher education somewhere else, not the US.
Hello, everybody. This is Sudeep here. Welcome back to my channel once again. In today's podcast, I am talking to Sri Gyanana Mukund Setur Jyoti, who is an immigration attorney with a specialization in US visas. In today's podcast, I talk to him about the H1B visa issues that we are seeing due to the changes in the regulations by the US government. I hope you like this podcast. But before we get started, I have one request for you. Please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel so that I get the motivation to keep bringing on such videos for you. So, having said that, let's get started. So, thank you, Gyanamukun sir. It's really an honor and pleasure for me to have you on the show and give me time in such a short notice. It's an absolute privilege for me. So we'll get started with the podcast. And the first question for you is that how do you see the current situation with the H1B visa that is going on due to the changes by the Trump administration and all that? So share your thoughts with us, please, if you can.
Thank you, Sudeep, for hosting me. I just accommodated your meeting because I wanted to help the immigration community at large. People still don't have answers for many aspects of the proclamation, including the immigration attorneys, not just the community, the entire immigration attorney or the stakeholders involved, the petitioners, the companies in the US. They don't have a clarity as to what exactly is there in the proclamation.
Sir, one request, can you come little bit nearer to the mic so that the voice is a little bit clearer?
The mic is basically a Bluetooth one.
Oh, okay, fine. Go ahead.
Okay. You want me to repeat start that?
No, it's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So what we were telling is the proclamation that was released on September 19th, 2025. So it was technically a shocker for everyone. So no one expected that this kind of a restriction on people entering the US on H1B would ever come. And hardly there was about a couple of days where people had to scramble, try to get back into the country. Not even a couple of days, hardly about a day. The proclamation was released on 21st, 19th, and they had to return before 20th night 11:59 Eastern time. So that is the timeline they had. As you know that majority of people try to book flights and then re-enter the US because they had no clarity, and majority of US corporations and the petitioners they said they sent out the urgent travel advisory people who are inside the US to not travel out of the country until there is further clarification. And people who are outside the US, they said if you can't return by September 20th, please postpone your trip. We will get back to you with the next course of action in about a week's time or more. So that was a kind of panic. It was a shock for the entire immigration attorneys, including the companies or the benefiters. Even the dependents were worried about it, what is happening. So this proclamation technically says any new petition that is filed on or after September 21st of 2025, and for a person who's outside the US, technically they are subject to pay an additional fee of $100,000. Okay. Initially, it was termed during the press release video, where it was termed that it will be applicable an annual kind of fee, but the later the clarification came up that it is a one-time fee. So that is what we have as far as the fee is involved. Okay, and initially there was an assumption that people with the current valid visa cannot enter the US for September 21st, and because of that, a lot of flight cancellations and visa appointment cancellations did happen, and they had to take a decision within about less than about a day or something. Many people had to rush through that, and they didn't have enough clarity. Okay, but again on 20th and 21st, there are further clarification that came from the Department of State, from the White House, and from the CBP, indicating that people with a valid H1B visa can travel in and out of the US without any issues. And then another clarification came that petition that was filed and or that was approved before September 20th, they shouldn't be impacted by this proclamation. They can probably go out of the country and get a stamping and then come back. So that is the latest clarification that came. on 20th and 21st. Okay. And there were a couple of other Twitter accounts and X accounts, one from the official account of White House. Technically, they call it that way. And then there was another account from Press Secretary of White House, which clearly indicated that this fee would be applicable for the upcoming lottery. Okay. So this is what happened. And so, despite all this clarification, okay, there are a few other information that I would like to share. Is people within the US are not technically on currently on H1B are not affected by this fee. Okay, and in case they are filing for an extension within the US, a change in employment within the US, or amendment of a petition, they are not currently impacted by the fee, even if the petition is filed after September 21st. But what will happen if they happen to travel out of the US and then try to re enter? So that question is still unclear. We don't have a clarity on that. So that is the kind of situation that we have. And people with prior petition approval that was approved before September 21st, and they have already, they've already applied for the visa. In the past couple of days, we had about three applicants, and two applicants over the window were indicated that the visa is being approved, but they have to watch out for the online status. Till date, that online status has not changed. And there is another applicant, the case has went on to a 221G or administrative processing for various reasons. That application has some complications. Okay, this is the current scenario. And people who managed to get back into the country after September 20th, that is on September 21st to till date, they never had any issues. They said it was a smooth sail. We went into the country. The port of entry officer did not stop us. We were back in the country. So that is exactly the current situation. With a valid visa, they can come in and out of the country. There doesn't seem to be any kind of restriction in their entry. And we are assuming that based on all the clarification, probably they're trying to implement a monetary kind of a collection kind of a plan or a program, which would probably affect the upcoming lottery that starts in somewhere and registration starts in March of 2026. So that is a major cost. Apart from that, who could be immediately be affected, as I said, someone who's filed an extension after 21st of September or change of status or amendment petition who's going to travel abroad might be affected. We don't have a clarity on that yet. We will come up with the clarity as we have more information. And there are some petitioners, okay, who are technically cap exempt. They're primarily the colleges and universities who sponsor academic kind of H1Bs or probably research oriented kind of H1Bs, right? So those application may have an immediate impact, but again, we don't have a clarity. And the administration is also considering excluding the doctors, technically the physicians, from this list. They don't want because there is a huge shortage of doctors in the US. So they plan to do that. Bloomberg News has come up yesterday. So this is the current scenario, and we still are waiting for more clarification as to what exactly means H1B renewals, whether it is a visa renewal or a petition renewal. We don't have a clarity on that. Whether all petition that is filed after 21st of 2025 and people happen to travel abroad will have an impact or not, we don't have a clarity on that. Whether this fee will be implemented first only from the upcoming lottery cycle that starts on March 2026, it is clear that it is first will be applicable from the press secretary X account, but apparently we cannot take that as a official kind of a clarification or a guidance per se. So this is exactly where we stand.
Yeah.
You may
Okay.
go ahead with the questions. Yes.
Yeah. So, thank you for that clarification. So, do you think this could have been planned better, or it's an ad hoc decision that they have taken, which resulted on the 20th and 21st, as you said, a lot of confusion, people booking flights, and all those things happened, and all that. So, a lot of people actually got confused, and they took maybe some rash decision or harsh decisions and quick decisions, and affected a lot of families and people also, right? So, do you think this could have been planned a little bit better? I know I'm going to come into the other part about the monetary aspect and all that, but do you think this was something you guys could foresee from before, or this just came out of the blue?
Came out of the blue. This was not the proper planning. We never expected anything like this, and within a very short duration. So The reason that we have so much of ambiguity in the entire proclamation is probably it was ill planned. They did not take a proper legal help in preparing this kind of a proclamation. So we feel this was ad hoc, and that is why it resulted in such a panic. And then now the government is going back and then saying that no, these applications are not fitting into that; they are all exempted and stuff like that. The clarifications came later, not from day one.
Okay, so what you are essentially saying is that people who have already stamped visas sitting in India, they are not affected. So it will people who have to go through a lottery system. The lottery system, maybe I don't know if it has happened for this year or it's the next schedule is for 2026. They will be affected. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, to be very specific, the people who have been counted towards the lottery this year in the year 2025 and they have a start date of employment in October 1st, they are not affected. That part is very clear. Okay, because those petitions were filed and approved prior to September 21st. So those applicants will not be impacted by this new fee. But in future, in the upcoming lottery in 2026 March, yes, they seem to be affected, and that part is also clear on the policy memorandum and the proclamation. Yes.
Okay, so I mean, how are the companies who are going to, I mean, offer H1B visas to prospective candidates from this year onwards are reacting? You have any information from the market or anything?
It's too early to think about a futuristic sponsor of H1B at the moment. And as far as, let's say, there's someone there, they already had a H1B in the past, they are currently in India, and the companies are already worried about hiring someone who's outside the US because there is a huge delay in visa processing. Sometimes there is a 2 to 1G, it goes into a black hole. We don't know how long that administrative processing is going to take. So that is already in place. Now they'll be more skeptical in hiring people who are residing outside the US. So that will be there. And about the next lottery, we have to wait and watch whether this proclamation is going to hold good in the court, whether the lawsuits will take care of it. So we have to wait and watch.
Okay, so throughout this process, right, last 7, 10 days, 20 days, you might have handled some crazy like cases which might have come to you, right, as an attorney, as a visa expert, right? So can you tell us, our viewers, about what kind of issues people are facing and how to resolve them? Because a lot of people may have similar issues and they might look for a resolution. They might, depending on the solution, they might even contact you to get some guidance or something. So if you can come up with a few cases, describe them in detail a little bit.
The few most of the cases are who are currently working on student visa on OPT. They are on F1 student F1 OPT program who are currently students and who have been selected in the lottery and they have approved H1B. They were bit worried about their prospective status because they've spent a lot of money in pursuing a course in the US. And now, when someone is going to say that you might possibly be impacted by the new rule or the proclamation, which is going to add $100,000 in the petition that must have to shell out, they were all a bit worried whether it is going to have a lot of impact because they were just building their career. They're just out of the college. They are probably getting some training on optional practical training. And they were all mostly worried kind of a group. And for now, the ones who have been counted towards the cap in 2025, who are selected in the lottery in 2025, they are not affected. So that, and there are certain people who came out of the US just for a brief vacation. They wanted to spend some time with family in India, and some had young children, babies in the US, just delivered in the US, and some had literally, came to attend a function or attended a marriage, their own marriage technically. I have a case where they came for the marriage. So they're all kind of on a panic mode. What exactly is going to happen? And then we had to say it's too early for people to take any kind of a call. Just calm down. Don't get into a panic mode. Or I know this chaotic kind of a situation at the moment. Just hang in for a few more days. We'll have more clarity. And those applicants, one of those applicants actually went for a visa interview, and another applicant today we went for an interview with similar kind of background. They came to, I mean, after the marriage and they were stuck in India. They thought they wouldn't be able to go back to the country. So we have clarified that yes, you're all okay for the time being, can go back. And one of them already attended the interview, the other one is about to attend the interview in the coming week.
Okay. Do you have any information about how, when people are going for stamping their visas in US embassies, right, in India, is there a separate kind of treatment that is being dished out, or it's normal still?
It is kind of normal, but apparently, my clients who went in the past 3 days, they've said the consulate looks empty because of all this situation, and they hardly see any H1B applicants at the counter. Very few applicants are out there. Predominantly, it is, I mean, it's business visa, the B1 visa or a B2 visa, where a tourist kind of visa application, and L1s and few students. So I think the most of them would have cancelled the visa appointment is what I believe. And luckily we said we don't have to cancel the appointment. I think I even posted that on my LinkedIn page that do not cancel the appointments. Whatever it takes, let's go there and then see what is going to be there. At least we'll know whether the fee implication is going to be there or not.
So essentially, the situation is very fluid, apart from a few things which are clear, but you guys are expecting more clarifications on some of the areas which are kind of gray still. So is that what is the current situation?
Yes, there are a lot of unanswered questions in proclamation and the guidance and the fact sheets or FAQs. So there are a lot of unanswered questions, and we're all waiting eagerly to hope that there is more clarification given by the administration very soon. And it is an evolving situation on a daily basis. Things are evolving, and even yesterday there was a recent proposal, that is a notice of proposal, rulemaking proposal, right? So NPRM. So there is a new rule about weighted lottery selection. So that is the latest one. They have proposed a rule. Okay, in which people with higher salary will have more opportunity in the lottery pool, and whereas with the people with the lesser salary, like level one wage, will have only one chance in getting into the lottery pool. So that is proposed rule making happening in the back end. It could take several months or at least a year for that to become a interim or final rule. We have to wait and watch.
Okay, so paint for us a picture, a worst case scenario. Someone who is in US, he is holding an H1B visa and it's going to expire. Okay, and he has to do a fresh petition and come back to India, or maybe, as a matter of fact, can go to any country and file a petition from there. What is the worst case scenario that can happen?
Worst case scenario, they can always say that because the new petition is filed after 21st of 2025, the person may be subject to the new fee at $100,000. That is the worst case scenario, which far from we feel it may not have that kind of impact. But again, as I said, it's an evolving situation, and we'll have more clarity in days to come.
So, how
And
are
and if someone is already there in the US, sorry, Sudhim, I was just
the
trying to add to that. If
please.
someone is already there in the US and they are planning to do extension, they have to renew the petition. Let them renew, stay in the US. Do not travel without consulting an immigration attorney, because it is always better to have a legal advice and then travel abroad.
Okay, that's good advice. So, do you have any information about how the families of such people are coping up? I mean, are they fearing? I don't. I think maybe it's an extreme case. Are they fearing some kind of a deportation or something like that, with chains and things like that in their hands and legs? I mean, any fearsome thing that you have come across?
Yes, at least a couple of clients literally cried because they thought their spouse who went out of the country, right? They may not be able to come back into the country immediately, and they were all just stuck in the US on a dependent visa. So we just told them things will sort out soon. And then within a couple of days, we managed to call them back. We voluntarily called them back and updated that you guys are okay. And your spouse should be able to come back because he is already having a valid visa. So they should be able to come back. They are also on the panic mode, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I can understand. So, one more thing: what are the legal options? Right? Is there at all any legal options if someone's visa gets rejected, or maybe he falls through the loophole, or maybe the crack or something, and he's being asked to pay the $100,000 fee or something like that? Is there any legal angle to it?
I didn't get the question properly. Can you repeat it? Your voice suddenly, I
Yeah, yeah.
couldn't hear
So
it.
I was asking, in case something, someone has to face some situation where he is denied a visa, is there any legal options available that he can go to a US court or an Indian court, file a petition and see that if something can be done? Is there any other options in case someone falls through the crack due to some situation, the fluid situation, something like that? Is there a legal course someone can take if necessary?
Yes, if they have been declined a visa because of the new proclamation, they must first inform the petitioner who filed the petition. And the petitioner, if they are willing to take the matter to the court, they can probably file a lawsuit in the federal court in the US. And the court may be inclined to give a temporary restraining order, is what we hear from our peers in the industry. Our area of practice is more about the visa application process and stuff like that. But apparently, this is not our area of practice. So you may have to check with someone who's filing the lawsuits within the US.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So, if say someone's visa is on hold for a long time, right? That often happens, as you said. So, what are the options for him or her, or for companies who are applying for that quota or something?
For a visa application that is stuck in the consulate and the administrative for a longer duration, they must keep contacting the consulate through the official channel. They have a profile, right? On the profile, they should be able to send a feedback to the consular support desk asking for a timely update. And sometimes it is not, you are not able to get any kind of an update. It is pending for a longer duration. Then you can engage a lawyer who can communicate with the consulate on on a regular basis, not on a daily basis, on a regular basis. And some matters we may be able to escalate or get a legal opinion from the legal net of Washington's Department of State office. That is another possibility to see if this visa adjudication can be expedited. In some instances, yes, contacting a congressman or a senator in the US probably might help in expediting the process. The worst case scenario, nothing is happening, it's been pending for a long duration. Yes, and the last leg of it would be like filing a lawsuit in the US.
So, my next question is, if a person is in US, right, and he has filed for an extension, if his extension is denied, will there be enough time given to that person to leave like United States soil gracefully, or he will be asked to leave immediately, something like that?
The petition denial will have two options. Okay, when a petition or extension is denied, the letter and the decision will decide whether the person can continue to stay in the US or she must leave the country immediately. Okay, so the wordings on the decision letter will be of priority or important factor, which is going to decide whether the applicant can stay within the US or leave the country immediately.
Okay, is there a way to actually appeal against that if someone is asked to, let's say, in the letter it is said that you need to leave immediately? Is there an option to appeal that I need, say, 1 month, 2 month, 3 months time to gather up my
They
things and
technically
then?
have a timeline to file a small window of timeline where they can try to file an appeal on that. They sometimes call it as a motion to reopen the file. So that is quite possible in circumstances like that. But
So,
filing a motion to reopen does not give a lawful status to continue to stay in the US. And unless they have a valid I-94 and the decision did not discuss about the applicant to leave the country immediately. So they should be very, very careful whether they can continue to stay in the US when a motion to reopen is filed, or they should plan to depart the US within 180 days because Any unlawful presence, the moment a decision is made and that decision decides the applicant is unlawfully present in the US or violation of status, they must leave the country. If not, from the date of decision, they start approving unlawful presence. The local language we call it as overstay, right? So they start overstaying the visa status. They must leave the country by 179th day. Failure to do so, if they try to depart on 180th day, they will trigger something called as a 3-year ban. From the date of departure, they are not permitted to re-enter the country for a period of 3 years. And if they happen to stay in the US, depending on the motion to reopen, and they don't have a valid status to stay in the US, and if their unlawful presence or overstay goes beyond 1 year or a 365th day timeline, and then they depart the country, they will have a 10-year ban from the date of departure.
Okay. So some of the people who have gone to US with H1B, they are under green card processing, let's say, right? Does this new proclamation affect them in any way?
Can you repeat your question again? Sorry about that. There is some
Yeah,
issue
no
with your
problem.
audio on your end.
Yeah, yeah. So I am asking that some people who have gone with H1B, they have applied for a green card or permanent residency, and their application is in process. Does this new rule affect them in any way?
It shouldn't generally affect if they already hold a valid H1B status, and they may have a problem when they try to renew the H1B petition within the US. And again, within the US, in the sense, they can try to renew the petition within the US. But again, when they travel out of the US, they might have some problems. As I said, we don't have a clarity on that particular aspect at the moment.
Okay. So with this new thing, do you think the Indian dream of going to US, settling there, building a good life has been shattered, or do you see that with all these things happening, with this pressure from big corporations, businesses, this proclamation or the new regulation will be withdrawn maybe sometime in future, depending on the political situation or maybe feedback from the big corporations and all that?
Yes, until situation becomes better, we feel that people will try to postpone or delay their process of either getting into the US, including students. Even students are considering to uh, pursue their higher education somewhere else, not the US. Slowly, that is going to go that way, and similarly, they will be reconsidering if they have to get into the US. If this proclamation is going to made 100% yes, if people will have to pay $100,000, they may be thinking, right? The companies may not be willing to sell out such a kind of money, where majority of their salary will be somewhere around 90,000 dollars, and why would they end up paying that additional $100,000?
Yeah, so one of the things is that I think students whose parents or maybe they themselves have taken loans and gone to US to do their studies with the hope that they will get some job in US after completing the studies. I mean, if this stays on, do you think they will be the worst affected going forward?
Might be the ones who might be, I mean, worst affected, because they have to shell out a lot of money to pursue their degree in the US. Approximately, they shell out somewhere around $50,000 to sometimes as high as around $80,000, depending on which course they are pursuing. And if they've already taken a loan and substantial amount of loan, they'll be worried about how to repay that. And they would have been an assumption that pursuing a degree would allow them to slowly get into a H1B, start the career in the US. That entire the student community will be affected at large if things are going to be like yes, $100,000 will be applicable moving forward.
I mean, I think with this decision, India is the worst affected country, right? Do you have any knowledge or feedback about how other countries, like for example China, which is the second largest, maybe the H1B visa applicant country? So how are they? I know they have come up with new this K visa and all that, but still, people have that dream that they will build their careers, be it Indian, Chinese, or whoever, right, in US and all that. So, do you have any feedback how they are? I mean, tackling this situation. Are they too worried like the Indians, or they see that it's okay? They will build their career in their respective countries.
So far, as you said, that India by far is the most affected community, and then second, Chinese will be the most affected one on the H1B proclamation. And some more other I mean, the countries or the students who went into the US or H1B holders, they have to cope up with the situation, right? So Chinese have already started promoting something called as a K visa, trying to attract talents across globe and from India as well. So this is again a latest development. We don't have any details on that. But by large, these are the two countries will be affected if this proclamation is going to have a serious impact on upcoming that additional fee of $100,000. Right? These are the two major communities will be impacted.
Yeah. So, do you think? I mean, moving on to a little bit separate subject. Do you think this is going to be an opportunity for India, because we have been talking about a lot of brain drain and all those things, people starting from good institutes, big institutes in India, and then going off to US. Do you have a sense in the market or seeing something in the market that people want to come back, settle back in India, do something good in India, build up their corporations, do their startups in India and things like that? Do you have any kind of clients like that whom you have spoken to of late or something?
We don't have any specific I mean specific clients who have discussed about it, but on the overall picture, we are aware of the fact that majority of US universities or other universities abroad, they are trying to set up their colleges in India. That could indirectly promote people to pursue their higher education from an institute that is an international institute that has set up a campus in India. So that is definitely going to help them achieve a similar kind of a degree within India without having to travel all the way to the US. So that is shaping up slowly. So we have to wait and watch how long it is going to proceed further in a positive note. And as far as the talent is concerned, yes, if the companies are as promised that they're going to start up more companies are going to have a startup in India, the corporate giants in the US or the places they're going to have more campuses offering more jobs within India, which I presume that some of the Indian entities like HCL or Infosys or Wipro, and they are also slowly trying to see if they can hire more people within India. So it could benefit people to get the local talent to work within India. And probably if this is going to help in coming up with more startup companies, yes, it will definitely help innovations in India.
Yeah, last couple of questions for you. I mean, I'll go to the second question last. But first question is: are you aware of how the Indian companies are reacting? Are they trying to put pressure on the US government or anything like that, or maybe any political things are happening in the background that you are aware of that might change the situation quickly? Anything you can speak about?
I don't have a direct knowledge except the ones that probably we all read on the papers and the publications. So we don't know that there are some meetings happening between the Indian government authorities and the US government authorities, and possibly discussing about this evolving situation. So again, that's something we have to know or we'll get to know more.
Okay. So one another question that just came to my mind. People are talking about setting up GCCs here, which the US companies might, I mean, do in order to tackle this situation, right? So, did you come across any such situation of late after this that people are talking about moving on to, like moving back from US and shifting here to work in the GCCs? I know a lot of companies, they already have GCCs, but maybe if this continues, other companies might also come and set up their GCCs here. That's what is the market thing that I'm hearing. But have you come across any such people who want to come back and work from GCCs rather than going into all this trouble, visa fees and blah blah blah?
It's like it's been happening for quite some while, and soon after the current administration came into power, I think I have known of a few clients who said they wanted to relocate to India, and then they have already relocated a few of them. They currently back in India. They sold their house, they've sold their cars, whatever they had in the US. They've just relocated everything, and some of them might as well be holding on to some stock in the US at time. The numbers are very less.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully it will grow if the situation becomes more troublesome. Let's see how it
It's
goes
bound to
ahead.
happen, right?
Yeah,
when
yeah,
when things are getting too tough out there, I think it's bound to happen. People will try to move back to their home country or other country where it is more conducive for them to work and live.
yeah. So of course, I mean, I am of the opinion that it's an American loss because America has been built up with the brains of Indians, Israelis, and people from other parts of the world, right? So that's what has given America the technological progress or whatever they have done, apart from other political things, right? Technology wise, these are the two countries who have contributed, maybe to some extent, China and Japan also have contributed more into the American technology side. So paint a picture for me to end this conversation. You have painted the worst case scenario. Paint a picture for the viewers and also for me going forward. What is the best case scenario you can see for both for our country and maybe people who are staying in America, and how they can overcome this fear, and what can India benefit out of this? Paint a positive picture for us, please, if you can.
So, so the current administration has been more about voicing their ideas that they don't want more immigration. They want to stop immigration. I think even yesterday or day before, I think when Trump spoke at the United Nations, he specifically said that migration is at large and you should stop or your country will be affected large. And I am doing it rightly. So he's more like anti-immigration. So at least for another 3 years, we'll have similar kind of an immigration kind of an issue that is going to pop up now and then. And we have to I mean, we have to stay calm, we have to stay grounded, we have to uh, be in a situation to handle everything rather than panicking. I know there could be similar kind of situations like last minute panic that happened last Friday, right? A similar kind of thing might happen, but we have to stay calm and composed to see that better days are yet to come. It will come. Okay, when we have bad days, yes, of course there will be some better days. We don't know when it should come up. That is one way of looking at it. And the other way on the current proclamation, to paint a perfect picture or a good picture, probably from believe that okay, this proclamation is not great. He wants to withdraw the proclamation. He wants to nullify that. That can actually help the entire situation for the time being. And the other situation is probably that there are lawsuits filed within the US against us. And many immigration lawyers feel that the president has exceeded his authority in coming out with the proclamation. So if they are successful again, that would also help the immigration for the time being. But again, this lawsuit may be able to stop this 100,000 fee being imposed on the upcoming, I mean, for people who are going to travel from India to US on H1B. But again, it is not going to stop. He might as well, the administration might as well come up with some other kind of policy or a proclamation that is going to create a trouble now and then. And for the next 3 years, we have to wait and watch what is going to happen.
Okay, so with that, we come to the end of today's podcast. So, thank you so much for giving me time. There is a lot of information and good insights that you have shared. I hope it will be very helpful for people who are in panic mode, so as to say, and also for the immigration community, people who want to travel from India to US to set up their careers and all those kinds of things. So, it has been really informative and very, very engaging. Thank you so much again, once again. And if this goes on well, this has good feedback, maybe I will come back to you for another small session. Thank you so much, sir, once again. It's been a privilege.
Most welcome, Sudeep. Before we, go offline, I would like to add that I am a lawyer licensed to practice in India, and I personally have about 18 years of experience in U.S. immigration matters alone. I handle the visa and consular matters across the globe wherever applicants are applying for a visa. We help with the process. And I used to work for OT law firm's affiliate office in India for almost like 17 years before I branched out. I started my own firm, the Visa Code. And along with me, my partner, Tony Veena Vijayan, and she used to work for the same firm where I was working. And we both started this a year ago. And she has about 20 years of experience in US immigration matters, and she's also a licensed attorney in India. And technically put together, it's about 38 years of combined experience exclusively in US immigration matters. And we just started the law from the Visa Code last year. Around the same time, we just celebrated our first anniversary. We are still growing in a startup kind of immigration law firm in India. And people can reach out to us on the info at thevisacode.com. Our website is www.thevisacode.com.